Hello, my makeup loving friends. How's it going? Welcome back. We are in for another week of the makeup releases that you wanted us to talk about. And you know the drill. It's me, Teresa, and the wonderful, beautiful Tia. All the details are down below, but you know what the story is. If you guys don't tag us in content, I have nothing to talk about. So a big thank you to Brianna, Ali, Beth, Gillian, Miss Charlie, Makeup Release Radar, Friendstopia, Claire, Wilma Fingerdew, JW, Chrissy, Unbreakable Solomon, Jasmine, Rhea, Kelly, Alexis, and Mary. Big thank you to all of you guys, and a big thank you to my Patreons. Our theme this week is Beauty and the Beast because for those of you who may remember the early days of releases and rants, the lovely Elena Glam used to come on, but she's a very busy lady. And she used to always show me up, and now I have Tia showing me up. But Elena would always blow it out of the water, so it came as no surprise, obviously, that she ended up on Painted with Raven, their second season, and the first episode aired last week, and the challenge was Beauty and the Beast. And I just thought, well, I have to do that to honor our girl Elena, who is killing it. So obviously, I came as the Beast, and Tia is the beauty. Need I explain more?
Like a Disney princess, purple hair.
But if my Patreons have given a stab at this, who knows? It's that time of the year where we just cannot be bothered. I will show you their pictures now. But we have a couple of things to talk about. But I will say it's been a bit of a slow week. I think possibly because we're towards the final hurdle and most people have like bought stuff for Christmas now that they're like, although that being said, I have not bought anything for Christmas because I am very poorly organized. This one was kind of strange in my mind. This is Mac and Whitney Houston. Now, this is obviously celebrating the new film that is coming out about Whitney Houston. I believe it's I Want to Dance with Somebody. But there's quite a few things in this. There's 2 powder blushes. They come in the shade Nippy's Pink Rose and Nippy's Plum Rose. There's an extra dimension skin finish called Just Whitney. There are 4 different lipsticks. There's the Sensual Red, Rose, Feisty Red, and Moody Nude. And there are 2 lip glosses. In addition to that, there's the Nippy Iconic palette. And I gotta say, it's very kind of dated, which I kind of understand in a way because we're talking about
very 90s.
Yeah, that was probably when she was, in her peak. But then at the same time, then they have like 80 romantic lash. So I'm like, okay, are we just mixing genres here?
Yeah.
I think what I find really odd about it is that Whitney's signature is on a lot of the products, which kind of almost gives the idea of like she's signed off on this, but she literally couldn't have because she's been dead for several years. I always find it a bit weird whenever a brand, like a makeup brand, collaborates with somebody who has passed away. There's something about it that really gives me a little bit of the ache. And I understand why they're doing it because the film is coming out. But I don't know.
But still a bit weird. Like, I was thinking, I was like, is Whitney Houston dead or not? Like, I couldn't remember. Please don't kill me, guys. But I couldn't remember. And I was like, maybe she is. If she isn't, I can't remember. But I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, because the person itself is not involved with this, Like, she's not the one who's been, like, designing these products. So this is just interpretation of what the people who were involved with this think she would like, think she would use, or think would suit her, I think. And I don't know, it's always weird.
I think what they've done is like they've gone for stuff that she probably would have worn back in the day. And because she's an icon and was around for a really, really long time. So they probably do have a back catalogue of an idea of like the sort of shades that she would wear on shoots. So they probably can kind of get an idea of that. But in saying that, that's going to be dated. That would have been Whitney in the 80s and 90s. If she was still alive today, would she necessarily wear them? We don't know. We don't know. I don't know, there's something about these sort of things that kind of give me a little bit of pause. I don't love them. And I often wonder about where the money is actually going, what's happening. Uh,
Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't like absolutely hate the palette, I must say. Like, I like cool tones. I feel like you could do a really pretty cool tone or like little bit of a warmer neutral look with that. Like, I feel like for the people who don't necessarily like do makeup like we do, I feel like this palette would be pretty because you could do a couple different looks with it. It's very neutral, so it's very like wearable. So like that. But I don't know if this is Whitney Houston, you know.
yeah, like, I mean, it's so hard to judge on that. Like, is it
Yeah,
really Whitney, or like, is it their interpretation of Whitney in the movie? Like, I
yeah,
don't really know where they're kind of coming from that. And then even like the kind of packaging is very kind of 80s, 90s.
yeah,
I mean, fair enough. I will say, and I don't think anyone's going to be very surprised, I think the lipsticks look quite nice. Those reds, like they do, they
yeah,
like there's a nice deep red, and like I do remember Whitney wearing quite a bit of like very bold red lipsticks in
yeah,
quite a few of her like music videos. So I feel like that is
yeah,
pretty on brand for her. Like I don't think that's a massive surprise. Like that makes sense to me. In terms of the lip glosses, they're fine. The skin finish, don't know. Like would that necessarily fit her skin tone, or what's the story there?
yeah. It's kind
Yeah.
of weird when they only release one shade. Like, I feel like then it should be a bit like, like, I don't know, just the one shade for everyone. That's not gonna suit
No, no.
like everyone. And I just wished brands would stop doing that. Even though this is a collab, even though it's like if they're going with the rule, like this would fit Whitney. Still, I think because this is still like for all of us to buy, so
Mm,
then you can't. But even if you like Whitney Houston, and if you're not lucky enough to suit that shade, you're like, would you just buy for nothing then? And then they
yeah.
lose sales. I feel like they lose sales, brands, when they do this. But I don't know. They have their reasons. The blushes look nice. Like, I like that cool toned, like purpley pinky color a lot. Like, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But on the swatches, it like they look completely different. So
Yeah. I
it
think
looks,
you can really see how different they look on deeper skin tones as well,
yeah,
which I think is partly the intention, anyways, which I'm fine with, like, of them
yeah,
looking a particular way. And again, there is something very like 80s and 90s about those particular shades.
yeah,
Not in a bad way, like it's fine. But yeah, I just have lots of questions about what's going
yeah,
on. Where is it going? Who's getting the money for this? Like, so many questions, and I
yeah,
just always worry whenever like a dead person's name is attached to something. Would they have been okay with it?
yeah. I don't think this is like, it's fine, but I'm not like, oh my god, you know.
Yeah, I think if it was anyone else, I think because I'm thinking about Whitney Houston and the
Yeah,
life that she led and how exploited she was and how screwed
yeah,
over she was by like management and people that she trusted. There's something about this, the fact that it's her, that kind of rubs me up the wrong way.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I've thought about it too much, but that's kind of where I've landed on it, that I just don't think it should have been done. And if it was being done, maybe they are putting some proceeds towards particular charities, in which case I would probably change my mind. But
yeah.
yeah,
Who knows?
yeah, it's
We're
just
on the fence about it.
yeah, yeah. Come back to me in a year. I'll have figured it out by then. When I put it to you guys, 5% of you loved it. 83% are kind of with us, where you said, not for me, feels a bit odd. And then 12% of you said that I like some of it. And even though we are kind of forging forward into December, I know I hate to say it, there are still some little holiday collections still trickling out. And this is Laura Lee Los Angeles. And what I will say is, I like that this is a very dialed back holiday collection. It isn't
Same.
5 million things, and I appreciate that. She's also a brand that doesn't come out with a lot of things frequently. She's
Yeah.
very dialed back in terms of what
Yeah.
she comes out with. And I will say I had her Candy Dreams palette, and I really,
You
really
said it
liked
was
the
really good
quality.
quality,
It
right?
was. So I'm just saying, I kind of like the look of this. This is the whimsical nudes palette, $36, not wildly expensive. There's 10
Yeah.
shades. There's something about the palette itself that is making me think of. Remember when KKW,
Yeah.
when it was KKW, who knows what it is now, and they had the camo palette. And I
Yeah.
remember us talking about that and kind of being like, oh, that's the most interesting thing she's ever come out with. There's something about this palette that is kind of giving me
Yeah.
those sort of vibes. I
It's
don't know.
also giving me a little bit like the Dose of Colors Friendcation palette vibes.
Yeah.
Just don't like the tones, but I feel like on this they have a black. They have it's a little bit more neutral, much more neutral. But and it also has a black. But I don't hate
I
this.
don't either.
Like I've been actually kind of liking neutrals, like a little bit. I'm still like color is still like my
Jam.
like yeah. So it's my like favorite thing, color. But I do tap into a bit of neutrals these days, and I feel like these tones are really nice, like warmish. Like you have that chocolate brown, black, then you have that like warmish orangey brown, and then almost like a yellow, pale yellow
Mhm.
brownie color. And look at that green shimmer. It
Oh,
looks like it's one of those like glittery ones that has a lot of dimension. There's like even like is that like a really dark brown shimmery. All of the shimmers look like they're special shades
yeah.
because if you, like zoom in, they look like they have like a glitter base in them. I would like to see swatches.
Yeah. I couldn't find swatches when we sat
Yeah, they
down to
probably
film.
don't have. Like, I
So,
will say the other picture that you added here, the one more bright one, it looks like the dark brown looks more like a greenish
yeah.
brown. So
Yeah.
it kind of changes a bit of the color story. So it might be that because on the other picture it's kind of like on a shadow, so it's
Yeah.
not like bright, so it looks a bit different. But I don't hate this. I don't absolutely hate it. I probably won't get it because there's not an Laura Lee is not anymore on Beauty Bay, so there's not like an easy way to
Yeah.
get her products. But I feel like this makes sense for her.
Mhm.
Like she mostly wears neutral colors, like that kind of a makeup. So I feel like this makes sense.
Yeah,
The
I think
brush,
yeah, it's very, very true to her aesthetic, and
yeah,
I think quite well priced, like $36. It's not
yeah, that's not
bad,
bad.
and the brush set.
Even the brush set looks nice. Like there's a good variety of like face brushes. You have like an angled brush, you have a flat top, you have like a domed one, another like more like an oval shaped and highlighter brush, foundation brush. And then it looks like the eye brushes. Like I feel like that's a pretty nice set of
It
brushes.
is.
How
I
much?
thought that too. The bundle for all 11, $55.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Hmm.
Like that's really cheap.
Isn't it?
Like for
Do you know what I love as well? Because I've been getting very annoyed about bundles of brushes. Because
yeah.
Tia and I have talked about this, but she's also selling them individually, and some
Oh, I
of them are
like it.
down to $5 and some of them are $12. So it's somewhere
That's not
between that.
still bad. Like that's like Morphe brush, kind of like Morphe prices. But I feel like I like the aesthetic of these.
Yeah.
If it was easier to get, like if I could buy this from Beauty Bay, if I could buy this from Cult Beauty or any like European slash UK retailer, I would probably like want that brush. The palette is like kind of like I like it, but I already have those tones, so I'm not like I need
Yeah.
it. But those brushes, I've been like a
But
bit
but
of a
Tia,
brush.
if I tell you that you just add on a couple more dollars, $71, you get the brushes and the
That's
palette.
I feel like Laura Lee always has a very good bundles. Like all of the time when I'm looking at her like launches, she never comes out with something ridiculously
Yeah,
priced. She always have bundles, multiple different bundles with like great savings. And I feel like she's staying true to herself because she has, when she was doing more like makeup videos, she was always like in that drugstore
mhm.
affordable. She did use expensive makeup too, but I feel like her passion was more to that like affordable
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I gotta say, I have quite like anything that I have bought from her, like I always keep nearby because I do end up like enjoying them and using them. So they're
Well done.
yeah.
Well done.
I gotta say, I can't really say anything too negative about it because I
Yeah,
think
same.
it's perfectly edited. We don't have like 5 million different things, which so many launches are these days. She's just brought it back to be an eyeshadow palette and some brushes. And hey, guess what? If you don't want the whole brush set, you can just pick and choose a few. I love that.
Yeah,
I'm for it. I think
really
it's
like it.
actually really, really nicely done, and I don't have anything negative to say about it. But when I put it to you guys, I think because a lot of us are very colourful, this is the stats we got. 6% said love it, 78% said not for me, and 16% said I like some of it. I'd love to know would those stats change once
Yeah,
prices are known.
yeah,
Because I think it's a slightly different ball game when you realise what you're actually
yeah,
paying. Like I think that is pretty darn good. Oh fuck me! Remember how we talked about this ages ago, where we saw the outside of the palette? Was it about what 3 months ago, 4 months ago? Feels like it was a really long time ago. This is Menagerie Cosmetics, and they have finally shown us their Paws and Claws palettes. So there are two palettes. They're $35 each. There's the Claws palette, which is like the cat one. So it has like that little pop of green, a blue. It's a bit disjointed if I'm not 100% honest.
yeah. I don't understand that orange there. Like
Yeah.
I would rather switch that like brighter green from the
Mm,
pink palette to the greenish one and then the orange there. Like
thank
make
you.
them, it just doesn't make
But
sense. I
it's
hate when people do like I hate when brands do this. They have an awesome palette and then there's like one shade that doesn't belong. And
yeah.
I'm like,
But it's literally it's like if you swapped the bottom left of both of those palettes,
yeah.
that's I'm like, did you get it mixed up? Have you put it into the wrong palette?
Also, the other thing, I don't feel like that sagey, almost grayish green belongs in that pink
No,
palette.
I totally
I
agree.
feel like there's these are gorgeous.
Mm,
The swatches look beautiful, but I feel like it's a bit like I feel like they're trying to get you buy the both of the palettes by doing this.
100%. 100%. Because I don't think either of these palettes would necessarily work in isolation. I think you'd have to bring the two of them to work together. Like, I can't think of anything that I could do with the Claws palette
Yeah.
by itself.
I feel like the pink palette is that's not like I feel like the greeny bluey one. Okay, even with
Stronger.
the orange, I can be like, okay, I can do a green look, I can do a blue look, I can do a greeny blue look. But then when I look at the pink palette, I was like, what am I gonna do with this?
Yeah, it's very disjointed. And I think because I was looking at it and I'm an idiot and I fucking love animals. I love cats in particular.
Thing.
And I immediately was like, cat, want. And then I thought, no, 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 hold on a second, Teresa. If you took the cover art off of this, would you still want it?
Yeah,
And I wouldn't. It is literally the cover art that is
yeah,
making me kind of question myself. And I'm like, that is not a good enough reason
yeah.
to go
You
off
could
by
just buy those
$35.
ornaments that they're selling.
Hmm, yeah.
And yeah, the cover. To be fair, now that I see the swatches there, I see that it's not like orange, it's like an orangey brown.
Yeah.
And if the two greens were more grungy in that palette, I would be like fine because brown and grungy greens go really nicely together. But because they are more like that brighter, like they're slightly grungier, but they're more like on the bright side.
Yeah.
So I feel like that even that like orangey brown, I just don't think it like I wouldn't try and blend it out with those greens.
No, same.
That's the only thing I would think of doing it with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
it's a bit kind of disjointed. And maybe
Yeah.
if I had the two palettes together, I could figure out something like I bring the grey over from the Claws palette, maybe use
Yeah.
blues in the Paws palette, and
I'm
then the
kind of
back.
disappointed on the Claws palette, to be honest.
Same, same, same.
Like I just feel like it's not there. Like in even like next to the Paws one, like you can clearly tell which has gotten more thought behind it.
Yeah. I literally I cannot think of what to do with the Claws palette, and I do like to think that I'm pretty creative in terms of
Yeah.
taking weird color stories and figuring out what to
Yeah.
do with
I
them.
feel like your only route would be using that dark plum, then with that like peachy orangey, and then like that nudish
Mm,
yellowish brown. But I don't like to combine those kinds of colors. I don't feel like yes, it might look good, but I just don't feel like those colors belong together. Then you have that green and that like grayish sagey
yeah.
green.
You're
Like
very
you don't have
limited.
nothing to blend those out.
No, they'd have to be like in like your cut crease
Yeah.
or
I
something.
feel like this is why I like bigger palettes.
Yeah,
Like I feel like when you have a bigger palette, you have more options. You have like room to add those blending colors. And I just feel like when palettes go this small, if you don't, if you're not like very good at like thinking color stories,
mm,
making them look like thinking what could I plan with this, what can I do with that, I feel like there it's like it's really hard to then get like a good palette, that standalone palette that you can use on its own. Like that looks gorgeous. Like some I like some of the colors on the post claws palette,
yeah.
but I feel like I can't use that on its own.
No, I agree. I agree. And like I don't. I personally don't like bringing in other palettes.
Yeah, I don't know, like I like to use multiple palettes, but I would also like to use the palette on its own.
Yeah,
Like I feel like it gives you more room to play with. You're
yeah,
not so like I always have to bring another palette with this. You
yeah.
know, I want
Yeah,
to
I
do
want to have options.
yeah.
No,
You want
um,
options?
thank you. Yes, I will say though, the fucking pins, they're cute. They are very cute, but it does
The
feel a bit.
packaging is
Yeah.
adorable.
But that's
So
the thing.
cute.
That's what's getting me. It's the packaging.
Yeah.
It is literally like it's showing me. They're showing me their bellies, and
If
then
I would
Chicago.
buy one, I would buy the paws. And
Yeah,
I do like the colors in it. I just wish they didn't do like I feel like they act like I'm pretty sure they swapped those two shades, the green and the like orangey
yeah.
brownish color, just because then you're gonna buy both of the palettes, you know. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like that's the thinking behind it.
I think so too.
Maybe not, but that's what I'm thinking.
I agree because that's where I think I even said that in my TikTok that I was like, oh, I think these were made to be together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the purpose of them.
Yeah.
I will say though, I've tried to get from Menagerie cosmetics before, and it's been a bit of a disaster here and there. So I'm kind of reluctant to try, but I will say their artwork is always like disgustingly cute.
They have just so cute artwork.
Yeah.
Like such a cute things, but I'm very hesitant to buy from American indie brands with all of the cost that's gonna pile on top of it.
Completely agree. Yeah. When I put it to you guys and you saw the Paws palette, 50% loved it, 26% said not for me, and 23% said that you were living for the cover art. When I showed you the cloth palette, 35% loved it, 35% said not for me, and 30% said living for the cover art. So definitely the cloth palette, I think, was the weaker part on that. Again, more holiday releases, and this time it's from Trixie Cosmetics, and it's the Sweet Treats collection. And I've got to say, this is really, there's something about this that's very Too Faced to me, and not as in like, ugh, hatty Too Faced, as in like,
Kind of also like a bit of kimchi.
a bit, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't like this. I'm sorry. Like, what is this?
It's a bit disjointed.
It
Like,
looks cheap. I
mm,
would not pay $16
for four
for
pounds,
that any of those 4 pan palettes. Like the blue is obviously the strongest one.
yeah,
Come on, where's the depth?
yeah.
Like, what did you do with these? Two shimmers and two. Just annoyed.
Like it, like I watched the full reveal, and like she was kind of going through them, and the swatches were all right, but like $16 for each of those palettes just seemed too. Like if it was $16 for all three, then I'd be like, oh, okay, fair enough. I don't think I'd be as
Or
mixed.
like, I feel like a tenner max
Yeah, I
for
agree.
one
I
palette.
don't. This has given me very much. I hate to be that person, but like Claire's accessories,
Yeah, it
like
just looks
sticky.
cheap. I get that it's like, it's like this cutesy vibe with the whatever the theme is, but it's just you can do cute, you can do like this kind of like Glamlite has done this
Yeah,
much better. And I just feel like this is just I don't
it's,
like it at all.
yeah, Two
I
Faced and
feel
not
like with the one other launches that he's come out with this year, top this.
this is weird.
This is just it doesn't make
Hmm.
sense, and those are not practical at all. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Do you know though what I was thinking? When I was looking at the reveal video, she was saying like, "Oh, I was thinking that if I saw these when I was a kid, I would have like lost it." And I was like, "That's exactly it.
Yeah,
You were a kid."
when you were a kid.
But what
So
going out and buying Trixie Cosmetics at the
yeah,
prices?
who's gonna buy your 10-year-old Trixie makeup $16 4 pan eyeshadow palette? Who's gonna do that? I think he's trying to he she. I think he's trying to like capitalize with like our like nostalgic feels, and
Yeah,
this just is not even nostalgic. It just
yeah.
looks like good makeup.
Yeah, because she was like saying, like, even in the video, of like, oh, I associate this time of year with like baking cookies and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, okay. And then there's the lip oil. So there's three different lip oils. One of them is clear, but they all taste of different things. But they're all $12 each, which for me, I like a lip oil. I do. I enjoy them, but I don't want to spend that much on them.
Yeah, and also like I don't like the package, and it just makes it look very cheap. I feel like it just I don't know.
Yeah.
It
I
just
think the only thing that I think is worthwhile is the Sweet Treat 6-piece brush set, because there's 6 brushes and it comes in that little bag. And there are some nice ones, like there's a nice powder brush, there's a domed foundation brush, there's like a nice kind of smudging eyeliner
yeah.
brush, and then there's three nicer, fluffier brushes, and that's $35. And she did say like the brushes themselves are worth about $60. But what has annoyed me is you can't get those brushes individually.
Yeah.
You have to get them as part of that. Like if you said, Teresa, you have to get something from this collection, it'd be brush set. That'd be it.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate the brush pouch, but the brushes look nice.
Yeah. There's like,
That's about it with this collection.
it's very, I see, I really want to like Trixie Cosmetics. I really do, because I like Trixie.
Yeah,
But
same.
every time,
I feel like she's not like I feel like she's doing very like kitschy, very like I don't know. It's just our styles do not match.
yeah. I'll also say I haven't heard the best things in terms of the quality of the makeup.
Yeah, I've also
So
heard that they're not the best quality wise. So
Yeah, so that really gives me pause, and I
yeah, and
like
the prices are pretty high. So if you hear like the quality doesn't match, then you're like, I don't really want to even try this.
yeah, I just it's not for me, like,
Yeah,
at all, and even
same.
if this was, like, a quarter of the price, I don't think I'd get them, and I think
No,
it
the
says a lot.
palettes are just, they're not it. They're
No,
not it.
I would never use them for anything ever, and it's
Yeah.
very confusing to have a drag artist come out with something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just very, very odd for me, and I couldn't understand it. When I put it to you guys and I showed you the sugar cookie palette, which is the blue toned one, 15% of you loved it, 75% said not for me, and 11% of you agreed with us and said, I need a bigger palette. Then when I showed you the jelly filled cookie palette, 14% said that you loved it, 74% said not for me, and 13% said size really does matter. And the gingerbread cookie palette, 11% of you loved it, 75% said not for me, and 15% said need more range. When I showed you the lip oil, 17% loved it, 67% said not for me, and 17% said I like some of it. And then the brush set, 13% loved it, 75% said not for me, and 13% agree with me and say that they wish that they were sold individually. It's a weird, weird collection. I want to love Trixie. Well, I love Trixie, but I want to love Trixie Cosmetics, and I'm just not
Yeah.
there yet.
Same. Same. Same.
But can I talk
Same.
about something that I do actually like? This is
Yeah.
SheGlam. I like SheGlam because, well, I'm a cheap bitch and I
I
do enjoy
love SheGlam.
some of their
Like,
makeup is fucking excellent.
love shopping at SheGlam. Like,
Same.
I just love how cheap everything is. I love that they sell everything. I love that they have like really good sizing on plus size clothing that is actually cute and
Yeah,
not
frumpy.
like it. And they have beautiful wigs. This is actually from Shein also. They just they just know. Like, I feel like I just I'm one with the Shein.
I
Just
like it because I have so few options.
yeah.
Plus size, that is
That and I
actually
feel
mine.
like their makeup
Good quality.
is really good for the price. Like what
Mm-hmm.
I've tried from them, I really like I like their foundation. Um,
The
what
duochrome
tried on
liners,
eyeshadow. Yeah, they have beautiful glitters, the eyebrow pencils. They just have a lot of good stuff.
they really do. So I am quite excited by this. We have two new face powders. So one is the Moonside highlighter. That's $5.49. It comes in 6 shades. And oh, there's something about this that is kind of giving me Fenty vibes.
I need those highlight. Like,
Yeah,
look at how they look. Like, even the swatches.
they look
Well, like
really
highlighters, most of the times these like bright swatches, they
good.
look a bit like what. But these look so nice. I'm really intrigued. I actually have one highlighter from them
But
though.
if you told me that those swatches were from Fenty, I wouldn't
Yeah,
question
I
it.
would believe you. I have this one, the
Oh,
from
oh,
the
yeah,
collection Chromosome, and it's really pretty. It's really pretty, and it's like a duochrome highlighter.
yeah,
Um, so I'm intrigued. Like the packaging looks cute.
yeah.
I feel like they do really good with like elevating the packaging without like the price going really high. I just really I want the bronzer. I want the
Yeah.
high. I want a couple of the highlighters.
I will say
Like
when it comes to the bronzer, like there's 7 shades. It's the same price. It's $5.49. I think they maybe needed one more, just one more
yeah, they
deep
could
shade.
have gone with like darker one.
But other than that, like the light
That's
shade
pretty
would
good.
suit us.
Yeah. So I want cosmic. Is that stream
Yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah? I
that one's
want that. I want moon rose.
great. Mm-hmm.
I want the bronzer called Morning Beam, and I feel like I could even get away with Dawn Glow.
Yeah, I think this is really quite nice. Like, obviously, you're not going to go out and buy every single thing in the collection. Like, that'd be bananas. I
Yeah.
I will say, and this is me being whatever, I do wish that they come out with a blush, like blush ranges as well to go with this.
Oh my god, I hope they will. I know they will. Like they will do that
But
soon.
wouldn't that be
Like,
so nice? You could get a
yeah,
highlight, a blush, and a bronze.
like
Mwah, done.
matte, matte and shimmery blushes.
But can I also just say,
Um,
wouldn't these be so good as like little stocking fillers?
yeah, I want these. These are going to my um
Shein wish list.
shopping. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
They're
I feel
already
like
up.
the packaging looks so cool also. Like I feel like these are giving high end
Yeah.
without being high end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna grab some of these at some
Yeah.
point.
I love them. I think it's done really, really well.
Yeah.
And
One thing I will say about the packaging,
mhm.
because there seemed to be like a domed, like on the center, you can see on the side, like dips, like it's flat and then it likes it domed like this. Storing that is annoying.
Yeah.
That's the only negative thing I can think. It's gonna take a little bit more space, but I don't care. They look so gorgeous.
Yeah, and for that price, I'm not going to get too
Yeah.
about it. When I put that to you, the highlighters, 30% of you loved it, 45% said not for me, and 25% said that you don't support fast beauty. When I put the bronzers to you guys, 33% said love it, 39% said not for me, and 28% said that you don't purchase from fast beauty. And I know this isn't quite fast beauty, but it does feel like they're almost in the realms of fast beauty. This is Glamlite, and it's not that long since they just did a collection. They just did their Scooby Doo collection. Like
Come on.
it's a bit much, in my
It's
opinion.
too much.
Yeah, so this is their
That's
strawberry shortcake berry licious palette. It's coming out November 25th, so as you're watching it, it's already available. There's 5 duochromes, there's shimmers, there's mattes. It does look pretty. Like I don't hate it. I like that sort of a color story. I
no.
like greens and pinks.
I like the shimmers, but I don't know. Where's the depth? Like, I feel like
Exactly.
Glamlite does this a lot, and they're very medium light.
Yeah,
Like, I need dark sage. Like, there's 3, maybe 2, and those are not even that
yeah.
deep.
Like off the 5 greens, 2 of them are mattes.
Yeah, I don't think this was needed. I feel like if I don't look at the greens there, that like looks a lot like this 2 rows of the,
Lunar Beauty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you don't look at the greens, like this row is basically what those pinks and those are. So I don't need this.
Yeah,
And
but
I
they
don't
really have like so many pink toned palettes as it
yeah.
is. Like they have a lot of those. I just am a bit mm, not
Like
mixed, but
I'm
confused as
like
to why
there's
they're doing so much.
yeah, so the thing is, their shimmers are really nice, really pretty, gorgeous. But I feel like they need to like do something else than pink and medium tone palettes. Like they do this a lot. They do a lot of palettes where they're only like very mid range.
Yeah,
Like you're missing very light, but you're also missing very dark colors.
that's pretty much where I am. And like Uh, I don't like that they're just coming out with so many things. And I know that
Yeah,
people are kind of saying, oh, well, maybe it's because, distribution has slowed down, etc. I know the distribution has slowed down. It absolutely is. Like my husband works in supply chain management. He's always
yeah.
telling me about these things. But the,
It's still
it's still
too
a lot of
much.
stuff. It's a lot of stuff.
It's
Uh,
just too much, and I feel like you can't catch up.
yeah.
Like I haven't like the Scooby Doo collection hasn't probably even shipped out everything that everyone's ordered yet.
Yeah.
And you're coming out with new stuff. Like come on. Come on.
Literally. I just think it's too soon, in my opinion.
Too
Because the
much
Scooby Doo thing,
too
that was
soon.
what,
Yeah.
5 weeks ago? 4 or 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's
And now we have a new thing.
yeah. So
Uh,
it's like we don't need new collection every month. Thank you
no,
very much.
no. I know
You're
they have
not
other things
color
like,
you're not color Bob. Please stop trying to be.
yeah, I think that's what I'm like worried about, that it is kind of going towards that fast beauty thing,
Yeah.
but also kind of being independently owned. So
Yeah.
it's a bit weird. Um, they do have other things apart from the palette. There's like blushes and lip glosses or whatever, but like this is all we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's kind of a moot point for me. They don't sell to Ireland. I tried to email her. She's never emailed me back.
It's
So
like they don't really care.
no, and that
Like
there's
even if you can't ship to some country, please like you can still reply to people's
yeah,
emails.
there's something, and I haven't heard the best things about their customer service.
Yeah,
So for me, it just ain't it. I don't.
yeah,
It's not for me. But if you know what, if you like this, I hope that you do get your paws on it and that you do enjoy it. But it ain't for me. When I got it
yeah.
to you guys, 37% said love it, 41% said not for me, and 22% said why so many releases, Glamlite. And then finally, just today before we started to film, Lethal Cosmetics announced that they were coming out with a whole chunk of new things. There's 2 new palettes with new shades. So there's the Evergreen palette and there's the Metamorphosis palette. They're €54 each. Now they do have new shades, but some of them are, I think they said in the video that there's 5 shades in all across the 2 palettes that are very similar or are reformulated from previous palettes, including the more recent One Up palette. So be mindful of that if you have quite a few of their collection already. So there are those 2 palettes there for €54, and they've like announced a whole chunk of things for their Black Friday sale. So I think that's going to go pretty darn well. But I think again, the thing that I quite like is that brush set. Like that's looking sexy.
Yeah.
It's nice, but €152. Phew.
Yeah, it's not that nice. I would rather pick the Stacy MP Perfect brush set than that because I feel like those look even nicer than
Yeah.
those. The more greeny palette looks really nice. I do have some, like I have some singles and then I have one palette from Lethal.
Mhm.
I do have like quite a few purple shades and some green shades. So I feel like there's a bit of a, like for me, there
Yeah.
would be a bit of a, in
And
both of these palettes actually, bit of a like similar shades. But I'm intrigued about their multi-chrome shadows because
yeah.
what I've seen on their site when they show them, they look gorgeous.
Yeah.
They look absolutely stunning. So I am a bit of a intrigued.
Yeah.
But they are very expensive. Like Lethal is very expensive, and 54
Mm,
euros for one palette. That's a lot for a 12-pound
it
palette.
is. Yeah.
So, but their quality is really nice. Like I don't have any
Yeah.
complaints about the quality. It's just that,
It's a lot to pay in one go.
yeah, it's just a lot of money.
I think when I look at the Evergreen palette, like I do like this, but I'm a bit confused about the one pop of purple in there. I
Yeah,
don't know what to
I
put
don't
that
feel
with.
like that is needed there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
feel
I
like
think
they,
then
yeah,
that shade could have been taken out in favor of the green from the Metamorphosis palette because the
yeah,
purple would have made more sense there.
yeah, definitely.
I'm a bit confused.
And also, like, two of the shimmers from that grungy, like, greenish, brownish color, like, on the top and the bottom, two
Mm,
shimmers, they look exactly the same. They're
agree.
probably multi-duochrome shades, and that's why they look, but I'm just like, how similar will they be?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I
on there,
mean,
they're exactly the same.
I don't doubt the quality at all. I have quite a few Lethal Cosmetics
Yeah.
stuff at this point. You don't get as much Lethal stuff as I do without enjoying them to some degree.
Yeah. It's
Um,
just I don't feel like their color stories when they come out with these palettes.
are
They're
wildly
not.
coherent.
Yeah, I don't feel like they're that cohesive. I feel like they do a lot of like very mismatchy color stories, which I personally do not like. Like
Yeah,
I look at palettes more like what can I do with this? What can I blend out with what? And without having like some people would like more variety in a palette. But I feel like when there's like one purple in a palette and nothing else, it's just like what am I gonna do with this?
yeah, yeah. I agree. I think the thing that Lethal does best is like their singles, and when you can build a palette
Yeah,
around that, I think that's
yeah,
kind of the best. But when they make their pre-made palettes, there's always something that's not. I don't 100% get,
yeah.
but
There's
that's a
always,
subjective thing, you know.
yeah. I feel the same. I feel like there's always something
Yeah,
a little bit off.
I like them though, so I'm not.
Yeah,
I can't really say
yeah.
anything
I
on.
do. I do really like the greenish bluish one. The other one is too
One tone.
neutral leaning for my taste.
Yeah, yeah, fair. Yeah, in all, like it's fine. I'm intrigued by the brushes. They are vegan, so if you're into that, um,
I feel like they look a bit like now that I know the price, I'm like,
mm,
really, really.
but it is a very expensive brand in general.
Yeah, I feel, but I just have they like if you like compare it to the Stacy brushette, for example, which is very similar price. Stacy like has actually like worked on every single
Mm,
brush. Like that's why it took so long to release the carnivals because the brushes that she wanted, the shapes, the style, the how they work, she wanted them to be perfect.
yeah.
And when I look at this brush set, to me it just looks like a standard brush set
Mhm.
that you can just buy from any like places where these brands buy their like things, and I don't feel like that there's nothing like special in them, you
And I mean,
know.
when we're looking at the amount of brush sets that we're looking at this week, we had the Laura Lee for $55.
Yeah.
We had the Trixie for $35.
Like I don't think that's like if I would go for a brush set at the moment, that's not the one I would go for
Yeah,
because it's ridiculously expensive. And
yeah,
I feel like I don't feel like that's actually to me that's not what it's worth. I feel like there's might be quite a bit markup in there.
yeah. I'd like to get one of the brushes just to see what it's like.
Yeah. If you can buy them separately, that's nice.
Yeah, that'd be fair enough. There's nothing in this that is wildly interesting to me because I already kind of have things like this in my
Yeah,
collection, but that's fine.
same. I have
That's good
similar
for
stuff.
me. Like
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. But as I said, we just saw this before we sat down to film, so I have no stats, but I'm going to put it onto the screen in terms of what you thought of the two palettes and what you thought in terms of the brushes. I think it will be, because people I think are being a little bit more critical these days. I don't think they'll do fantastically well, in my opinion, but there you go.
Yeah.
But that means we're at the very end, and I just want to talk about my favorite comment. This is from the lovely Ida, who said, "So nice to have my makeup company back. Yes, I watched this at 9 p.m. while doing my makeup, only to wash it off. Tradition upheld." Yes. I love that we're actually a part of people's like traditions.
Oh, just love
Saturday morning.
everyone. Like I watch releases and rants every Saturday when I wake up, and I'm like, oh,
I love that. It properly like makes me so happy because it's just me freaking out on
yeah,
a Friday trying to put everything together and editing it. And I'm
yeah,
such a disjointed human. I'm very bad at editing. So I'm just like trying to do that after finishing work and just shoving everything
yeah.
together. But then when I hear people kind of saying things like, "Oh, it's part of my routine," I'm like, "Oh,
Maybe this is worth it after all.
I love this. This makes me happy." But a big thank you to you guys for watching, for tagging me in content. Like I said, if I don't have that, there is no show and it becomes really awkward. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd be happy to just sit and chat shite with Tia for hours,
Yeah,
but like, I don't know how interesting you guys would find that. But that is the end of the video. Do please like, comment, and subscribe to myself and to Tia. We have all of our socials down below so you can find out what's going on. And do please share, because sharing is caring, except, of course, for STDs, in which case you just gotta wrap it up. Don't be gross. But that is it. That's the end of this video. And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
bye.